What's up, Jack Factory Army? It's Big Mo here again with another training video for you guys. What's up, Jack Factory Army? It's Big Mo here again with another training video for you guys. So today we're hitting legs. We got Sheldon again to help us out. So with legs, you guys are going to see a theme in all these workouts that we're doing. I always start with like a lighter, more isolation type exercise to start off almost every training session, like to get blood in the muscle and warm up the area that we're trying to work and establish a mind-muscle connection, which is very, very important when it comes to hypertrophy training. So today is no different. So today we're starting with a hamstring curl, specifically a lying hamstring curl. Again, just a good, safe way to warm up our knees, especially the back of our knees, and get blood in our hamstrings before we move on to squats and our heavier type movements. So we got Sheldon here again. He's going to start off on a set. We're going to go for 12 reps, 3 to 4 sets. So the idea of the lying hamstring curl is a great movement. It allows us to really get a good stretch on our hamstrings on the eccentric portion of the lift and a really nice squeeze on our hamstrings on the way up. One key thing to remember when you're doing this exercise is you'll notice Sheldon is doing a really good job at keeping his hips down on the pad. Sometimes if you're lifting a bit too heavy or as the reps start to get harder, your hips will actually lift up off the pad just to help you move the weight. So something to remember is while you're curling up with your legs, really try to push your hips down into the pad. That will really help you isolate your hamstrings more and you'll get a lot more out of the movement doing them that way. So there you have a lying hamstring curl, guys. Next, moving on to squats. All right, guys, so we're on to back squats. So this is the king of all leg movements. If you want big quads or big legs in general, you got to squat, some type of squat. There's many different ways you can squat: wide stance, close stance, hack squat, V squat. But today we're doing old school barbell squats, bar on your back. We're gonna try to keep a closer to medium stance because we're doing this for a quad focus. So you'll notice that we're not gonna try to get too deep. We're gonna hit parallel. And that's going to be about it because, again, trying to keep the focus on our quads. And even that way, we'll still get some glutes involved. So big thing on this, guys, is all about form. Everyone sees people in the gym squatting with bad form. Very important to keep form in mind because you can get injured pretty easy doing these if you do them improperly. That's the main focus here. And, of course, doing them with good form is going to yield a better result. So this is going to be one of the big main movements in our leg workout. We're going to shoot for about 8 to 10 reps. I don't want to go too high volume on squats because I still want us to use like a good, decent weight. But again, I don't want us to use a weight where we could risk injuring ourselves or where we might sacrifice form just for the sake of getting the weight up. So yeah, let's stick with 3 to 4 working sets and 8 to 10 reps on this. So Sheldon's going to show us an example of what a set of squats should look like. So right away, again, you'll notice chest is up, back is nice and straight, and he's going to hit that just a parallel depth and come back up. So he's not being pulled forward by the weight. He's doing a really good job at engaging his core and just getting good quality reps, keeping the tension on his quads. And there you go, guys. So that's a good set of back squats. And like I said, you want to hit about 3 to 4 working sets of this. Something else I should mention, you'll probably need a couple warm-up sets to work up to your working weight. Once you find that working weight, 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 10 reps. All right, guys, so we're moving on to a leg press, so our second compound movement of our leg training session. With the squats, we did a close stance, kept it on a quad focus. With the leg press, we're gonna really open up our stance nice and wide, flare our toes on the platform, have our feet really high on the platform. It's gonna allow us to bring more hamstrings into the movement. As well, with a wider stance, we're gonna bring more adductors into the movement. An important thing to mention on this type of lift with the leg press, you really wanna make sure, especially when focused on your hamstrings, that you're pushing from your heels. It's going to be a big proponent of engaging your hamstrings during the lift, as opposed to if you're pushing from your toes, you're going to automatically bring more quads into it, and that's not what we're trying to do here. So Sheldon's going to get started. As well as on these reps, we're trying to get a good stretch on the hamstring and the glutes. So he's going to come down really nice and deep on these. He's really going to bury these presses. So you see by coming down that deep, he gets a nice stretch on his glute, and then pushes up through his heels for a full contraction. And guys, on the leg press, we're going high reps on this one. 3 to 4 working sets, 15 to 20 reps on this, guys. We really want to beat our legs up here. So good controlled tempo. He's really controlling the weight. Every rep looks identical. And then once he hits 15, that's going to be plenty. 15 to 20 reps on that. Again, get a couple warm-up sets if you feel like you need them after the squats. Some people might need them, some people might not. But there you go, guys. Really good way to do a type of pressing movement for your legs that really brings your hamstrings into it and not just your quads. So there's a leg press for you. We're moving on to our lunging movement. So I always like to have some type of lunging movement in my leg training, whether it be like a walking lunge or a split squat. Today we're going to do a Bulgarian split squat. Probably one of the toughest forms of a lunge that you can do. With this exercise, you can kind of do it a couple different ways depending on your foot placement. Having your foot out far away from the bench is going to really help you engage your hamstrings and glutes. Having your foot closer to the bench and more underneath you is really going to help keep the focus on your quads. So today we're going to go right in between because we're not hitting quads or hamstrings today, we're hitting both. You're going to see Sheldon, he's going to set up, he's going to get his foot on the back of the bench. Once he gets his balance and really feel secure in the movement, he's just going to really focus on keeping his chest up and just dropping that back knee. You'll see he's not leaning over his leg at all. And that foot is kind of right in the middle. So he's getting a little bit of quad and a little bit of hamstring work in there. And again, on this one, guys, you want to focus on pushing up through your heel. That's going to be a good way to make sure that your hamstring is still staying engaged and your quad's not taking over the whole movement. On this exercise, we're really warmed up at this point in our workout. So 3 sets of 10 to 12 per leg is going to be plenty. And one thing you will notice with this exercise, guys, is that it gets really hard set to set. So don't worry too much about what weight you're using. Probably just pick a weight that you can manage the first set, because I can guarantee you the second and third set are going to get much harder. So you might even get to the point on your third set. This is what happens when I do it. On my third set, I usually got to drop the weight in between, like halfway through my set, just to finish the amount of reps I'm trying to get. Yeah, guys, really good lunging movement here. The way we did today was a bit of quads and hamstrings, but remember, you can change your foot placement up if you're trying to target a specific area. So guys, that's a Bulgarian split squat for you. We're on to our finisher, so we're going to do leg extensions to finish off our legs, especially our quads. We're going to do something a little different though with this exercise. We're going to do drop sets. We're going to do 3 drop sets. So Sheldon's going to show an example. He's going to get 10 reps at his initial weight. I'm going to drop the weight down a little bit for him, and then he's going to get 10 more. So this is just a really good technique to add in some intensity at the end of your workout and to really just completely finish off a body part. Make sure you have nothing left after your 3rd drop set on this one, okay? You guys notice form too. He's holding the handles. He's keeping his butt down in the pad. He's not letting his hips come up. He's getting a full extension on his way up, getting a good squeeze on the quad, and letting it come all the way down to make sure he stretches the quad on the eccentric portion. Yeah, there's 10. So he's going to lean up, take weight off. We dropped the weight about 50 pounds, and now he's going to get 10 more. There we go. So really good squeeze, guys. Make sure you get everything out of this one. It's your last exercise of the day. So after 3 sets of that, your legs should be pretty much toast. If not, if you want to add even more intensity to this, you can do a triple drop. So you could do another drop and try to get even a little, like some more reps out of it. So there's a leg extension for you guys. That finishes off our upper legs, our thighs. So now we're just gonna move on to some calves to just completely finish off the entire leg. So we're gonna start with the standing calf raise. The most important thing with calves, guys, is your range of motion. Getting a full stretch in this movement is gonna be like everything, whether you get results out of it or not. We're really gonna focus on getting a full stretch with every rep and then coming all the way up on our toes on the concentric portion to get a really good squeeze on our calves. The standing calf raise specifically targets more of the gastrocnemius part of the calf. So that's kind of what you see, like if you're in a bodybuilding, like on the side chest and side tricep shots, you see all those lines shooting down the lower leg of those guys. That's a gastrocnemius. So Sheldon's gonna give us an example. With calves, I like to go really high volume on these. So we're on about 3 to 4 sets of 15. And again, a nice weight we can control and get full range of motion on. You'll see Sheldon's getting a little pause at the bottom of each rep and a slight pause at the top to make sure he gets a really good squeeze on them. He's not just using heavy weight here, bouncing up and down, like you see a lot of people do. So a nice full range of motion, good stretch. There you go, guys. So that's a standing calf raise. So remember, guys, that's working the outside muscles of your calf. Next, we're moving on to the seated calf raise. We're finishing off calves with a seated calf raise. So like I mentioned before, in the standing calf raise, we're working the gastrocnemius, the outside of the calf. On this one, we're working the soleus, which is a big muscle like underneath the gastrocnemius in your calf. So this is gonna be really important when adding mass to the calf if you actually wanna make your calf bigger, not necessarily just more detailed like the standing calf raise would do. So same idea though on this one. On the seated calf raise, we might wanna go a little bit heavier because again, we are working a bigger muscle. The soleus is the primary mover of the calf. It's probably going more so the 10 to 12 rep range on this, but again, the controlled reps are what's most important here. We're still trying to get a full stretch on the calf and a full contraction on the way up. So Sheldon's gonna show us an example of what the seated calf raise should look like. So again, guys, 3 to 4 sets here, 10 to 12 reps. Nice controlled tempo. Really making sure we're trying to hit the part of the calf that we want to hit. All right, guys, there you have it. So that's a full leg day. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and make sure you stay tuned for lots more content coming from us.